I'm a surreal too.
Welcome to Amuso Real Talk. My name is Amuso Eunice. Thank you so much for loving us. I will not stop thanking you for your love, for your support. It's amazing, and we really appreciate each and every one of you. Now, we would like to say a big thank you to our wonderful sponsors, Industrial Machines Uganda. Find them at Ntinda Dinner Apartments, B4 Plot 133, Ntinda, Kampala, Uganda, for you who is already in Uganda. And for you who is outside Uganda, visit their website www.industrialmachinesuganda.com. Mr. Ikonyat Festus is their country manager. Send him an email at ikonyatfestus@gmail.com. Certainly they will not disappoint you. You want to start up a factory, you want to start an industry, they got you. Visit them, reach them out, check their website, and you see, you will love what you see, and definitely they'll be there to help you. We have a guest today, and we are so overwhelmed to have you on the show today.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Madam Eunice.
Yes. Introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, audience, I'm very glad to know to be hosted on Muso Real Talk. This is a very good, wonderful talk. I've been hearing about it, and I was following and watching their programs, their shootings on YouTube, and it has not only made people to access different people from different nationalities all over the globe, but also it has been an elemental tool to transform people's lives. My name's Jonathan Dumba. I'm a Ugandan by nationality, Africa, East Africa, definitely. I'm glad to be here today. I'm also Real Talk. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Dumba, for coming through Amuso Real Talk. And we know that, like we say here, that we inspire people. Everything, every word that comes from this show inspires someone, and we know that for sure what you will share with us today will be an inspiration to someone out there. Briefly tell us, who is Mr. Dumba Jonathan?
Well, Mr. Dumba Jonathan is a nobleman. He's from Uganda, as I've told you. I'm a Ugandan. I'm a Christian in the first place. Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I accepted Him as my Lord and Savior. And Mr. Dumba or Dumba, you can give me any title you can give me. I've been raised from a humblest lifestyle. To my side, I take myself as a living testimony to reach to this age. I'm an adult, of course. I'm a father of 3 children.
Wow.
And I've been I've grown up from the center of Uganda, that's Kampala, in Busiro side province, that's Wakiso district. And I grew up from a small village called Bulenga, that is right away from Busega side. That's where I was raised in. And I did all my academic grading or studying from that side, that area. Briefly, that's what I can say about Dumba.
When you say that your life is a living testimony,
Yes.
tell me, what do you mean by that?
Yes, when I say that my life is a living testimony, what I went through from childhood up to today, it's not a normal journey for someone to grow up and survive. So when I survived, I would say I didn't deserve to live, but I thank God that I've grown up to reach this level. Because in the scope of it, I lost my parents when I was at the age of 8.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, my mom, my dad first. He was the one who passed away first when I was 8. Then after 9 months, also my mom died.
Sorry.
So I grew up in
Our condolences.
may
May their souls rest in peace.
amen. So to reach to that level, to grow up, I've gone through different areas, segments, and the aspects of life, and I've tried a lot of stuff to make sure that I survive and reach to this level. It was the grace of God that made me rise to this level.
Those are the things that we would like to hear. Perhaps someone out there will get something. Maybe someone is sharing the same experience with you.
Yes.
Maybe a young child is out there and going through almost the same.
Yes.
And they don't know how to come out of it.
Yeah.
And they don't know that there is hope.
Yes.
So what are those things that you went through at a tender age?
At a tender age. Okay, the first side, my mom didn't stay long together. My dad, that was in Imobende district. But she struggled a lot to make sure that we survive. In her capacity, we used to struggle, and she didn't have that enough money. She did all what she could as a mother, as a woman. And from I was 6 years, but the biggest trial that really made me knew that I really have to struggle to make sure that I survive is I was traveling 4 miles to reach to my school. That is primary 1, primary 2, up to primary 3. And by then, at home, I really looked totally very disorganized. I was staying with my grandmothers, aunties. It was a very big family. It is. It's not was. It is, because they are still living, some of them. Yeah, it's only my grandmothers. I was blessed that all of them. The grandmother of my mother was still alive, and also my grandmother was still alive. So they were both taking care of me. But I didn't really look to be with any kind of a sense, because I was struggling to make sure I survive in my life my own way. I was at the age of 6. At 6 in primary.
How does a child of 6 years look for survival? This is just a toddler. One item at the age of 6, I remember. There was a guest who came at home and gave us some money for pocket money, because I was starving at school. I was not eating lunch. I was only eating food when I go back home, and we could go back home by 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. But I made sure that I keep that money. I bought sugar cane so that I may resell it when I go back. I reach back home, so that I survive. So I was carrying I could carry only what I could afford in those 4 miles. So I could carry 2 or 3, then reach at the village where I stay. I sell to the guys and they give me some money. I remember by then, I could make a little penny. That was Ugandan shillings. It was little. I could sell it 2 shillings, 3 shillings, 5 shillings. By then, I survived. I made sure I survived. But by then, even my education performance, inside in me, I wanted so much to study. But I was really performing poor. I could be 48th. 48th out of 50. The big second last.
Yeah, second last.
Okay. What was the cause of that? Were you not sleeping well at
Every
home?
time they could chase me out of class, I didn't pay. I was a school fees defaulter.
Oh, great.
I didn't have any money to pay, and the little money they could pay, they pay late or installments, and I really struggled to make sure that I make that. And I remember the best performance I did to go to primary 2. I performed. I was the 20th. Even my grandmother slaughtered the chicken.
Wow.
Because that was the best performance they had ever seen in Dumba. At that time.
So you pushed until P7?
Until P4. Then and before my mother took me to my father. I'd never seen my father in my
At
life.
that time, your mother was still alive.
Was still alive.
But still struggling.
Yeah,
Okay.
until when I was 8, I went to see my dad. In my life, I'd never seen my dad, and only one thing I knew, that my dad was in the city, Kampala, somewhere. Then she took me. I don't know what really happened between that. Yes, why I was not seeing him, but that's when I saw him. I was so happy. I rejoiced. But I remember going from Mubende to my dad. I didn't have even shoes. I went in shorts.
Oh.
So I went without shoes, barefoot. But I was very happy, very happy. But in the life of village, even I had jiggers. They had bite my toes, and I was terrible, but very positive, enthusiastic.
I know.
To make sure that I make in life. I had never cooked in my life. I had never washed. But when I reached at my father's place, I met their stepmother. And then she was the real wife at home.
Tell me about it.
I didn't know that this stepmother was the real angel.
Wow.
I didn't know that it was the real angel. In my life, after seeing my father that time, after 2 months, my father died.
Oh, so sad.
And my mother had already gone back to the village because she just brought the son to her father's side.
Okay.
And then the stepmother said, wow, good boy. Because by then when I reached there, my mind changed drastically. Whenever she could say to me, you are going out to do the plates, you are washing the dishes,
Yes.
you are doing the dishes. I tell her, after the dishes, I'm going to well to pick water. So I could send myself clean because I wanted to impress her so that I stay at home.
Oh, yeah.
So she was always very happy with me. She said, wow, I'll stay with you. Your father has died, I'll stay with you. I'm the last born in the family.
Oh.
We were born 9 children. 9 children, 3 boys, 6 girls. So now I have 2 boys died, 1 boy remaining. So 6 siblings now. They're all girls that I have, and they loved me. I was the youngest, and they loved me so much. At home, they could help me, though they were also not working because we were struggling. But when after 9 months, they called me back to village in Mubende that your mother is sick, totally bad off. They took me to my mother. I looked at my mother. That was my first time to cry. I'd never cried in my life because of a situation. She was really, really bad. And then my stepmother said, you are going to see your mother. Take her with this receipt. I've paid for your school fees. She said, when you reach there, when you exceed 2 weeks, don't come back forever, because they should take care of you. You should only be coming here as a visitor. That was the limit that they gave me. Reaching to my mother, she was too sick. And
someone has given you a
limit. Then I reached a point, my mind had already changed. I knew that I'm becoming now, I'm beginning to stay alone. I looked at my mother. I was crying every day. The only thing I made was just to cry. I told my grandmother that they gave me a limit on what to live. They just told the mother, we cannot save anything. The boy has to go back home because we shall not be able to pay for him school fees. He has to go back and study.
So you had to leave your mother sick and go back because you needed to save a future. At such a young age.
That was 1992, 93. Then 93. Then when I went, I started studying. They told me that we shall call you. They knew that my mother was going to die. They called me. They sent a letter because there was no telephone in the village.
Yes.
By then there was no cell phones.
Yes.
Cell phones came in Uganda in I think 96, something like that, 98, 96 cell phones. Now they sent a letter that Dumba's mother has died. It reached after 3 days, and she was a Muslim. I gotten to know when they buried her 3 days ago.
Oh.
So I really felt like
You didn't pay your last tribute.
I felt so bad. Already my dad died painfully because my dad only suffered 1 week and he died.
And after just 2 months of seeing him.
After 2 months of seeing him, I saw him only 2 months in my life.
You didn't enjoy.
I didn't enjoy the daddy's love.
Yes.
And then I didn't bury my mother. I just sat there at the veranda. I think it took me 9 hours. I didn't sleep in the house, just mourning for my mom. I really I felt really so bad. My siblings on the mother's side, they were there also crying, but nothing to change. Then I started working, studying. I went just to check to the funeral of knowing my mother, where she is. I began growing, and then one old woman at the village just came to me and said that, son, now just know, take anything that happens to you in your life now. It's an opportunity. That just changed my life.
I can relate.
He said, now Dumba, you are young. We really feel bad that you have lost all the parents, but you have a family. The good thing, your mother loves you. I just drew my love or my attention to this remaining mother.
The stepmother.
Yeah. She loved me so much, and she loves me. She's still alive.
Oh, mommy. I wish mommy will see this. Thank you, mommy.
And I love her so much. She's there. Madam Margaret Makumbi. She's still alive in Bulenga.
Wow.
She's my hero. I call her my hero. She said, what you eat, we shall eat together. Don't worry, my son.
What I eat is what you eat.
She taught me a lot of things in life.
She gave you values.
Values. She never tortured me.
Wow.
In the village at my mother's place, I used to receive beatings as a punishment because I grew up a very stubborn boy. But stubborn as I am, my mother, the one who remained, never beat me.
Your step in mother.
Yeah, she never beat me. She has never beaten me in my life. I only received beatings down, and I received beatings at school, but not beating with my stepmom.
Wow.
But she used to beat a lot the real children of her womb. They said, we don't know what you did to our mother.
Wow.
She taught me to do the crafts of ladies' bags that are sold at National Theatre.
Wow.
She used to teach ladies at the village. She said, okay, you should learn.
Yes.
She was giving them a course of 2 months, but me, I learned in 2 days. I was already selling, making. God gave me that brain of practical work. I learned very quickly. She taught me how to rear chicken poultry. But in the village, I used to ride bicycles.
Yes.
So
as a growing child.
Yeah, as a growing child. I don't know how brave I came, but when I turned to be 10 years, she just found me carrying sacks for coffee hussicks on the back to bring for chicken.
Oh.
So she bought me a bicycle. Say, I buy a bicycle.
Wow.
Do it. Don't carry anything to that. Then I was doing work like any other item.
Another child.
But I remember anything that could happen to me by then, in my heart, I'd already sealed my heart that that's what I deserve to survive. Because that's the village person told me. Anything that could happen to me, I was taking it on the positive side. That's what I deserve to
Because of what
suffer.
the other old person told you.
Yeah. So I never cried.
True.
The last to cry was when I lost my mom. Anything that could happen, if I don't find food, say, okay, That's what helps me to survive today. I'll eat tomorrow. And I persevered in that item. But by then at school, I used to love music so much. I used to love acting, singing, and also I loved eating. I loved eating.
You love food.
Yeah, so one of my sisters, and also I love her so much, my sister's called Dorothy Kasaija Namukwaya. She's there in Entebbe. She studied the course of catering and hotel management.
Okay.
She inspired me a lot. She used to bring food from the restaurant. She used to bring food that they do at YWCA by then.
And it was different from the one at home.
The one at home. So for me, I didn't choose career of education because of anything. Because the food said, I should eat well. I should eat well. So I realized that sometimes some things you use simplicity, but to really make God can use anything simple in your life to create a very big career in your life.
Okay. I
wanted to eat, but in wanting to eat, that's why I bought the idea I should work in hotels.
Oh, so you at that you were 10.
Yeah.
And your sister used to bring food.
Yeah.
So because of the sweetness of the food, you were compelled to say, now this will be my career. I want to work in a hotel. Okay, so then tell me, how did it go? How did you go on from there? Did you finish primary, and how did it turn out?
Actually, when I reached in primary 5, knowledge came back into my brain. I began performing very well.
But it was the circumstances that made you to perform poorly.
Yeah, circumstance was making me to perform poorly because by then I could only get 20% in every subject, 15%.
Wow.
But I don't know what really happened. Between then, I began scoring 90%,
wow,
85%, and they're also getting what because I was performing poorly in the village, but when I came in the city, brain changed. I became super.
Because I think this goes to parents also. Like, you were in the village, and you were not performing, but the reasons as so far about the story is you had a lot of tension. First you trek to school, long miles. There is nothing to eat. You're hungry and you're a small child. How do you expect performance?
Seriously, it was really tough. And in the village, it only taught me, I think, how to be a brave man to date. Because I remember one time my mom went somewhere and she was ambushed by rebels by then of Obote. I was young boy, but good I knew the extended families. She was held in Kabamba barracks near. We were staying near there. That's a place called Nakawala. She said, "Find your way, my son. I have nothing to do." I was 4 years.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, and I walked in the bush. I don't know how I reached. I began walking from 7:30 p.m. around there when it was getting dark. I passed in and I reached where another relative. I don't know how I reached, but I reached. They just saw me reach. They asked me, "How have you reached here?" So I remember my mom brought me here one time, so I was recalling the road. So they wondered how I reached, but I reached, and that one taught me how to be brave in any level where I reach, not fear.
Yes.
So when I reached to primary 5, I began performing well, and I was a very good mathematician. I liked a lot of sciences. I liked physics. I mean, I liked science by then, primarily.
Yes.
I finished well primary 4. I mean P7.
Yes.
And I studied. By then I think I scored 12 wow, aggregates. So to me it was an achievement.
Big one.
A big one, because the situation I went through. Then my stepmom, persevered with my sisters, and by then I had one brother. They began paying school fees slowly by slowly, but my mom when I reached in senior 2, money went off.
Okay.
They stole her money, they stole her capital. She could not handle anymore to
pay school
pay school fees. But she loved me so much, and then she said, "My son, I think I've managed to stop on. I've tried my best. You'll stop on senior 2." Said okay, but my heart was telling me I'm going to start and finish. I don't know how. Now when they came at school, the school where I was studying from is called Chikaya College School, Blenga. I studied in Bira Primary School. It's also near Blenga, Bira, and then Chikaya is also near Blenga. Okay. So that's why within the community. Then I went to that school out of shortage of getting to better schools. I didn't know that also God was calling me from that side. That's why I learned that someone to perform better, you don't really need to first go to high class schools. Anywhere you can excel and you can get any career. So when I reached that school at senior 2, a Dutchman came and said to our headmaster, "Please
tell the Dutchies come from."
They come from Netherlands. Yes. Can we teach these kids music? And they fundraise for this school.
Wow.
And those who excel, we take them, they perform for the school, and we fundraise money to build this school. And the headmaster embraced it very well with gladness. Mr. Mubiru, wherever you are, we love you so much. You are our dad.
Okay.
I found another dad that was the school director, and was the HM. Drumming, the only thing I knew. But the training took us 1 full year. Training, so it was really combatant musical training.
In the school.
But at the end of the year, I ended up being one of the best 9 performers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Out of how many?
Out of they wanted 25 people, 25 dancers. The trip was to carry 30 dancers, 30 people. 5 of them were staffs. Okay. Chaplains, director, music teacher, matron in where we are going. So, but later when we are exceeding to go, they said, okay, now we want 30. So the first, the scrutiny made they wanted first 60. Out of the 60, they'll choose the final. So all the stages I survived.
Wow.
And I became one of the best 9 performers. Actually, I was the best 5.
Wow.
Yeah, amongst the best 5, but I was not the best. I was amongst the best 5.
In drumming.
Well, of course, after 1 year, then I added on other items. Then I learned how to dance, to do entertainments, to play other instruments.
We have this you're having. What is this?
Oh yeah, this is called the African bohap.
Okay.
Our African Ugandan name is called Adungu.
Okay.
From northern part of Uganda.
So you learned to play this also.
Yes, I learned how to play as well. In that regime, I was the first to learn this. The rest of others were concentrating mostly on drums, but also I wanted drums and this. So this catched my attention more, and I learned this faster than any other item. Though I knew how to play all those African drums, the typical Ugandan instruments, several, I can play 5 of them at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So from being picked, then you guys went to Netherlands?
Then the next year, 99, 1st of January, we went to Netherlands.
Okay.
That was our first flight.
Wow.
We
so
went to make a performance.
From Wende to Netherlands.
To Netherlands.
Wow.
That was the day the year I was stopping to study, was the beginning of the year that changed my life. Because I reached a point, even shoes
you had
were torn. But when I went, I remember my sister bought for me some jeans because I'm going to Netherlands.
Wow.
Some shoes to start up with. But when we reached there, it was abundance. Everything was too much arranged for us.
That's how God does.
Yeah,
things.
and that's how God does things. And each of the dancers, they gave us host families. They made sure they have enough to entertain us, and we performed in different theaters, schools, primary and secondaries in Netherlands.
For how long were you guys in
We
Netherlands?
spent there. That trip was 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so we spent there 2 months. We came back in March.
So
Went in
did you
Jan.
continue with the school or you stopped?
When we came back, they said the gift we give you guys, we give you sponsors that will make you start until you finish secondary schools.
What?
Yeah. So that day I gotten sponsors. I forgot about being chased out of schools.
Wow, and your mom, now our mom was happy.
She was very happy. Say, my son, now you can study.
Yeah.
Then from that, my life never remained the same. At school, everything changed, and we changed our school to become a better school, and also they opened up a vocation institute at the school, and now it's a big school.
Wow.
Yeah, by then we were stopping on senior 5. Now when we came back, now it is from senior 1 up to senior 6.
Yeah.
Vocation training, now they have even primary. So that was the beginning of the story. And when I finished school, the family that hosted me in the Netherlands, they said, we invite you for vacation.
Are you
have
kidding
a vacation
me?
school vacation with us.
Wow.
So I went back now as an individual. They said, oh wow, good family, nice boy, you are our son now. They adopted me again.
Wow.
So I went back and I toured the Netherlands now as a tourist. All those cities, Rotterdam, Amsterdam, Den Haag, Zoetermeer, Leiden, Delft. We went there. I learned some Dutch because I began also working a lot with the Dutch people in Uganda. So when I went there, then supplemented, I learned more of Dutch, and I worked. I began there the working career. My first time to work.
Okay. Now you're done with senior 6.
Senior
So
6.
you went there for vacation.
For vacation.
You're invited.
Yeah, invited, and
now your life starts as an adult.
Yes, as an adult, and that vacation was meant to be for 6 months. I worked in McDonald's restaurant in Netherlands, in the central The Hague. As I was doing the tour, so I was doing it as a part-time job. So when I came back, the little man I got, because those sponsors that took me, they said, we have come to make a farewell for you.
Wow.
We have stopped sponsoring you for secondary school. You take care of yourself.
Wow.
So the money I made in the vacation was enough for me to pay for me the university in Uganda.
Wow.
So I came back, I was self-sponsored. So I just came, I had my little money. I remember, that is 2002. I had around 9 million Ugandan shillings. Then I had to first pay for the whole course for tourism and hotel management. Remember, I want to eat.
Yeah. You like food, so
Yeah.
you were compelled to
Yeah.
do this course.
Yes. So I studied tourism and hotel management at KIU, Kampala International University. And it was a 2-year course because it was a diploma.
Okay.
Then from that side, I began the journey of starting to work.
Facing real life.
And I started working in hotels. That is Regency group of hotels by then. Now they changed management. That line, that's when I became a born again.
Wow.
Yeah, that's when I became born again, and I gotten too much devoted with the Christ. I began serving while working. And then in 2004, I joined coffee shops.
Okay.
I joined a coffee shop called Good African Coffee. I worked so hard, and luckily enough, the director for that coffee shop, Mr. Andrew Gasira, He changed it to Good African Coffee. People from Republic of Ireland, they said, would like to support your company, but we shall sponsor, choose the best of your 3 workers. We train them about coffee and business and machines. So you had to choose for someone to be trained as a barista, and another one to be trained as sales and marketing, then another one as a technician. So they took us to Republic of Ireland for upgrading, yes. So he paid for me a ticket and the course.
So you see?
Yeah, from that side. And
see?
it was my first time to be in a 5-star hotel. They made the project was really very organized. They made sure they host us in a Hilton Hotel in Ireland, Dublin. And then went in a coffee shop, in a company called Billy's Cafe. And that's when I trained about coffee, barista work. By then, barista, it wasn't so much famous thing in Uganda.
Yes.
And
Even in the world.
if I'm not mistaken, I was the first Ugandan by then to be taken abroad to study as a barista. That is 2006. The rest of others have been going to study about more coffee industry, but not as a barista. But that time I went as a barista. And that was my first time I had never seen latte art. I saw latte art, that is 2006, from Dublin, and then I came back. We started it in a coffee shop. That was the beginning of my career, and I worked in multiple coffee shops by then, because when I came back, both had challenges. Then used to change managers. They could not understand the profession. I also encountered lots of challenge by then. I tried my level best to make sure that I pay back to him, but there was no coordination because of the flow management. They were totally different. Because I remember one time they brought a manager and she wanted me to reheat, to warm espresso. And I said, you cannot warm coffee twice.
Yes.
That one only caused they had to tell me stop work, because you cannot. I want you to make espresso and warm it again. So I said, oh wow. So I left the company and then I joined Serena Hotel.
Yes.
Began working with Serena Hotel. That is 2007. By then, the only thing that I remember, I was one of the team that was selected to go and to check and recommend good machines that really will be used in presidential suite. So pure gold machines, and little did I know that that's the room that Queen is going to use.
Oh.
That time, it was a very good honor for me.
For the Commonwealth.
Fair for Commonwealth. That's Chogam.
Yes.
So we went and we selected, and it was a success when they finished Chogam. I was working with Serena for 2 years. Then this company where I worked before, they called me back that come back please, we need you more. We shall give you that money that those guys are giving you. So that's how I began, and I went back to Serena.
So how was life now as an adult? As you're a father, you said in the beginning you're a father of 3.
Yeah.
So how does this life come about? How do you end up having 3 children? How did it go as now someone who was under a parent,
Yes,
now into someone who is responsible for your own self?
This challenge, actually, after Serena, I gotten married. That time also I faced the toughest moment, because the moment I told I gotten a spouse and I told her that we are going to get married, that's the day I lost the job.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the day I lost the job.
So it was a challenge.
It was a challenge. I didn't know where to start, and I had some debts. I had to make sure I first clear off the debts and remain with little money. Then I said in my life, say, marriage is not about being ready. Marriage is about to accept, to say it's a choice.
Yes.
No, you can't prepare for marriage, because if you say preparation will never end.
Yes.
That's what I realized. I told the lady, let's go as we are. Let's start this. So I gotten married, but at the same time I was looking for a job. I looked for jobs as far as even going to Rwanda. They took me to Rwanda looking for jobs. I could not get. But the lady persevered and said, okay, what you choose is what we follow. Last thing I remember is it took me 7 months to make all this marriage preparation. There is no paying dowry, wedding.
So you wedded?
I wedded.
Wow.
Yeah, I wedded, and by surprise, the wedding was a very successful wedding ceremony. We made it at the KK Beach Gaba, and my honeymoon, we went back. They called me to Serena. And they served me as an offer. It was a wonderful moment.
Wow.
I paid half 50-50 bill. The rest they handled. Then it was a success. And during the honeymoon, they called me for a job.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got in a job after the honeymoon. Just went straight away to start working. From that time, that moment,
You're starting life now as someone who is married.
someone who is married.
With a spouse.
Yes, with a spouse. Of course, after 1 year, we gotten the firstborn, our son called Joshua. Then he was born. And by that time, I began entering into what we call consultancy, because I wanted to open up the concept of consultancy of coffee shops in Uganda. I really struggled a lot, and but I maneuvered a little bit. Then I went to village, that is for Porto. I got in there, a businessman who did very well, and the project was a success. I finished because the contract was meant to be for 3 years, and then I finished. I came back to city after finishing
So you
that.
left your wife, or you went with her to Fort Portal?
I left her.
So you just come and go back?
Just come and go back.
Okay.
And then things along the way there were not easy. When I came back to town, money left, and I could not get enough clients. That's when I decided to say, I think I better go for a career. I go to UAE.
You went to UAE when you have only one kid?
No, all that line.
Because you're telling me the last time you told me you got one kid after 1 year of marriage.
It's after 3 years. Within all that, then because we have 3 children.
Okay.
We have 3 children. After all that period, because I wanted to be a little bit brave.
No, it's okay. So in between the first year you got a child. After you have 3 children now.
Yes, I have 3 children.
Okay.
So in that line, when after having 3 children, I had a lot of challenges. Job exchange,
Financial.
I had financial challenges because I'd started some businesses, supplying business of supplying equipments, at the same time consultancy in restaurant business. But I was getting less customers, and others were not paying in time. So it ended up causing me to a lot of debts that are not caused by me, but because of the defaulters and failures to pay.
Yes.
So it was a very big challenge for me, though I had a wonderful family, a happy family, 3 great children, 1 son, 2 daughters. That's Joshua, Ruth, and Rachel. And then I had to make sure, say, okay, now I have to change my career. That reached to 2016. Then I said, okay, I will not go to abroad before my last born, at least 3. I had to wait for a family. I said, okay, now they can be stable, but let me wait until the last born is 3. So when she made 3, that's when I began looking for ways to come to join here in Gulf land for more venture of another career. And then I came in 2018 to join UAE. My first job, I just went, that was the biggest challenge to me.
Okay.
I didn't have enough money, enough funds. The only available opportunity by that time, the guy made, I sent my video shootings of my coffee, he loved them, they're on point. Little did I know that is also in the deep village of Alei. That's Alwaga na Alukua.
Okay.
So the coffee shop was good, is okay, but it was very far, and the offer was, that is what they could afford
At that time.
at that time. But it was not enough for me to sustain me and the family that have left home.
Yes.
I remember I started with as low as 1,200,
Wow.
and I had to cater for my accommodation. They were giving meals at the same time to send back home. So I had to start working with that company, but it was too little for me, and I didn't know all the rules or the legal for
consequences
of anything of UAE. I only knew the standard of Uganda and other countries. And then I told this boss after 6 months, say that this money is too less for me. I want to work with you, but can you increase my salary, my salary at least? So he was not willing, but he wanted me to give him more and more, create more things on ground. Already I made him money, and I made a menu. He loved it, and the people loved it, liked it, and but was not ready to increase my salary. I said I rather go. I said no, we cannot let you go because you have a contract with us. Not until after 6 months we can't let you go. Then I maneuvered, and I went to Dubai to look for another job during my off. There is a company, a certain boss that I will not mention the name. He connected with my boss, said, we want to give you 15,000 dirhams in compensation for Jonathan, we take him. He refused. He said, if you are paying that, that means you are not giving us money for that. We are not allowing.
So he refused.
He refused and still remained on that.
But in that process, I understand you had health challenges when you were here.
Yeah.
And that almost claimed your life.
Yes.
Tell me about it, and how were you able to survive that?
Good. That's where I was heading, because after that negotiation failed, I got diagnosed with liver problem.
Oh.
I got diagnosed with liver problem, and I was admitted to a hospital. It was almost taking my life, because when they took me, I had health insurance, but they said my health insurance does not allow me for further medication. And then we are supposed to take you to a bigger hospital, Cleveland Hospital in Abu Dhabi. But miraculously, there is a wonderful doctor. He connected with those guys. I don't know how they did it. They said, we saved this man's life. And what made me that was a very big toughest moment for me. The children at home, they are waiting school fees.
I know.
I'm admitted in the hospital.
You have to pay rent back home.
I have to pay rent back home. And these guys, they are saying, they told me that we are seeing we are medically improving, but we are chemically shutting down every day that goes by. And Cleveland Hospital, they said, okay, we received that guy. They took me with an ambulance to Cleveland Hospital, Abu Dhabi. They admitted me. It took me like 3 months. They discovered, they gave all those, and they checked. I had gallstones in my bladder system. So it was making the liver to stop functioning. And when the former staff's workmate that I left behind, one also had similar sickness. When he went back to Uganda, they just sent us news that he has died.
Oh.
So that made me shocked again. I said, I'm going.
Oh.
So by miracle, I thank God. That moment, the guys, they said, because I remember I went into a coma for 30 minutes. They thought I had gone. And when they are still doing their treatment, but they said, you are back. But after 3 days, they said, your liver has started functioning again.
Wow.
So you are okay, you're lucky. Just wait until you get better. They gave me, I thank God for that. They gave me full treatment, and I came back after a month. But I was very weak, of course. I'd lost weight. They had given me sick leave. The employer looked at me, said, no, this one cannot work with us. After 3 months, when I was back there, because even I could not serve in customers as a barista should be.
Yes.
My presentation was not proper. But they said, we give you a letter, look for any company that can employ you.
So they let you go?
They let me go.
By themselves?
By themselves. After those 3 months, I went to Sharjah to look for companies. And then in searching, that's when I worked there for three months in a certain coffee shop. But these guys, they say, we let you go, but we are not giving you your papers. You have to pay for our money that we injected in you when you are coming in here. You have to pay for tickets, you have to pay for everything.
So these guys brought you direct from Uganda?
Yes.
Wow.
So when you pay that, we shall give you a passport. So I worked for 3 months, and this company said, no, we're not giving you further working with us. You will cause us problems. We need your passport. So I had to leave. Then by miracle, another miracle happened.
Yes.
I joined a company called True Cafe. They said, we can work with you. When you finish the date for the other company, we shall give you.
Wow. So they're willing to pay for the money?
They are willing to pay for the money. And they paid. I worked for like some time, like 3 months. Then after that, they paid for the money. They paid for the money. I began paying in installments until when I finished it. And they gave me a permanent contract with them. Wow. To work with them. That's how I maneuvered, and I began working.
Wow.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So, in brief, when you look at the challenges, and how is the family now?
Family is not doing bad. It's doing good. And the children are going to school.
Yes.
They are happy. I thank God for their lives. I thank God for my life, and I thank God for the life in the UAE. Yeah. Are
you still with your wife? The one you married?
Yes.
Wow. That is good. Yeah.
Yes.
So you grow together.
Yeah, we grow together.
We thank God for that. So when I look at your story, I myself, I learned something.
Yes.
Patience and resilience and not giving up.
Yeah.
From a boy who had jiggers in his toes.
Yeah.
Until the time he's in Netherlands.
Yeah.
He's everywhere. He's in the Republic of Ireland.
Yeah.
He's in UAE.
Yes.
Life has changed. What are some of those toughest moments that you have faced in life that you'd like to share? If you sit down and you're like, I don't know how I went through this, but I went through it.
There are like 3 or 2, but the first one is when I was in secondary school. I thought my life was gone. I was going in the garden to get some feedings for a young calf at home, a cow, a young calf. When I was going, I don't know how it happened, because Bulenga is not so much in the village. It's a city. But out of a shock, I encountered a youthful leopard on the way like this. And it was big enough, but I'd lost my control. I had a pang in my hand, a big knife in my hand, a small sack because I was going to get the weed, the feet, but I'd lost my life. Like, if it had attacked me, I would have already gone because I lost the senses. Say, I could not believe that I find an animal
as dangerous
as that, and it's there. But after like 2 minutes, because it stood and looked at me like this, I also looked at it, but I remained in one place. After 2 minutes, my senses came back. I began being brave. Now I knew already what to do, that if it attacks me, I know what to do. By then, I was ready to kill it.
But what happened? It left?
It just left. And after leaving, I remained there for 5 minutes, not running. Yeah.
And what is another challenge that you have faced in life and you're like, yes, I don't know how I went through this, but I thank God that it came and it passed. And what lessons did you learn from them?
The big challenge is when I had my children, when reached 3, we had a small misunderstanding with my wife. She left home by shock, and I told her that I'm remaining with my kids.
She left you with children?
Yeah. I told her that don't touch any of them. Don't touch any of my child. I stay with my kids. And the last born was 9 months. So the 9 months, I had to struggle to persevere to make sure that I survive with the kids. I faced the toughest challenge that moment.
So you were the father and mother at the same time. You have to go and look for food. And the kids were just looking at me. They were happy. I had to make sure that I don't cry in front of them, but my heart was crying too much. I was really struggling. I faced rejection. I faced everything toughest, horror of life. Looking for, sometimes I lost 2 jobs there in the midst because I was not concentrating. All my minds were at the kids at home. And that moment, I realized, seriously, I took it on the other hand that if I'm a man and I'm struggling like this, we should give a very big credit to single mothers. True.
That gave me a very big lesson to really respect single mothers. I faced it. Actually, also coming to UAE, I came. She reconciled back to kids when I was about to leave here. She said, okay. After seeing that, also devising, maybe trying to see life in another way, it was not working out for her. She came back. But coming back, there was a lot of damage. I lost a lot of stuffs. I lost a lot of money. I lost business. I lost properties. I'd bought 2 plots of land. I lost all of them. They had some disputes. I was almost with nothing. That was toughest moment for me. And the third toughest moment is when I gotten sick.
Here in UAE.
Here in UAE.
No one to take care of you in the hospital.
No one take care of me in the hospital. They could take care of me, but life, how to survive with the kids. And I left when I'm the father, I'm the mother.
Oh, so you left, she had not yet come back.
Yes.
She came back after.
Yes.
When you're already here.
Yeah, well, I was the father, the mother, and I had to send money for school fees.
Now you're sick.
Money upkeep. Now I'm sick. I have to survive at the same time here. I don't know how God kept me, but God kept me.
Indeed.
Yeah, God kept me.
His grace is sufficient.
Is sufficient.
Yes.
Seriously. Yeah, that's it.
So, what advice would you give to, first, before we go to the advice, what kind of a parent are you?
I'm a parent who give a chance to my children to discover their destiny, and I support them. I don't define their destiny.
True.
I make sure I let them discover the destiny. My only tool I instill in them is to fear God. I always encourage them to fear God, and I always make sure I remind them, show them that they've got to be the skill in their mind. Yeah.
What has life, based on everything that you have been through, what has life taught you?
One thing life has taught me to love people, not to judge people, and to avoid determining mistakes, to use them as tools to try to define people's personalities.
True.
If I see someone with a mistake, that's not enough for me to determine his
who you are.
identity. Then if I do that, then I'm trying to define myself.
True.
That's what really taught me a lot. And secondly, I realized one thing, that anything that you have in life, God can use it to make you to the toppest.
Absolutely.
To the toppest.
So I want you to play something for us. You said, what is the instrument's name again?
Oh, the instrument is called the African bohab. African bohab.
African bohab.
Yes.
So we would like you to play something for us.
Yeah.
And the viewers.
Yes.
And this is what transformed your life.
Yes, this sector transformed my life.
Yes.
And this instrument is very important to me because it has moved all over wherever I go.
You go with it.
It is in the first in my hand luggage.
So what song are you going to play for us?
I'm going to play a song, a gospel song, said Naomba Tucheze. I composed it because always when I'm stressed, I always play this instrument. It makes me happy, stress goes off.
Yeah.
And I worship my God with this. Yes.
You will not sing?
I will sing. Yes, it says a music that is formulated with 9 instruments. Music is made out of 9 instruments.
Look in that camera.
In our language, this is coming from northern part of Uganda, and the African name is called Adungu. Yes, it's mostly famously known by our brothers from Acholi region, the Acholi. Then other tribes also they play it, but mostly Acholi made it very famous to other groups, ethnic groups in Uganda. Yeah.
yo yo yo, Yesu yo yo yo, yo yo.
much. So
Yeah.
we would like to finalize. First of all, we want to say a big thank you for coming around to Amuso Real Talk. And
Most
I would
welcome.
like you to give a word to the youth out there.
Yes.
Tell them something that they should live on, like that old man told you in the village.
Yes.
What was that statement again?
The old man in the village, he told me one item: whatever happens to you is the opportunity, the privilege
That
to make you
have.
survive.
Yes. I would like you to have a word of advice to the audience for the fact that based on what you've been through
Yes.
as a person from childhood to where you are right now,
Mhm.
someone is going through something similar and they feel it's so hard, life is too difficult for them.
Mhm.
Kindly give them a word or two of advice so they can lean on that as they go through life.
Yes, thank you so much. The first step or my advice I can give to the viewers, Amuso Real Talk, is to be positive in life. When you're positive, it's very hard to fail.
Mm.
Because I realized failure is an opportunity to the next success. And with success, it's very difficult to sustain a success than winning it. The day declare that you are the best, that's your maximum point.
Mm.
But the day you declare that you are just starting,
Mm.
you just know you're making it.
Mm-hmm.
One common item where when I tried to assess and I look at it is all people who commit suicide.
Mm.
When you check very well, they have one similar reason they have is hopelessness. Very bad to be hopeless.
Mm.
It's not an abuse, it's a description.
Mm.
Be very positive. And I realized also, under the planet Earth, when you check the world's population, there is no human being who is empty.
Mm.
I'll end up with a scripture that's written in the book of Exodus.
Mm.
God is meeting Moses.
Mm.
He says, I heard the cry of my children in Israel.
Mm.
He asked him in the conversation, you know, or what's that? He asked him, Moses, what do you have? God did ask Moses, he knew that Moses he knew he didn't have that much, pertaining what people expect.
Mm.
Moses answered like human beings, I totally don't have anything except this Lord. God wanted to show Moses that I can use anything you have to redeem a nation, to redeem a generation.
Mm.
He told him, throw it down. It turned into a snake.
Mm.
Moses, he feared it. The same way, so touch it. What you fear, confront the fear.
Mm.
Never fear. And to the young generation, especially now to Uganda as one of the countries with the youngest population, the most productive age of a human being is between 14 to 45. I've hardly heard people who have invented things that we're enjoying today that are above 50. The White brothers were 22. Someone who invented light below that age. Footballers, by the way, I love Arsenal. I support Arsenal. Footballers, whoever reaches 30, they reduce because you are approaching less productive age. What I'm saying to the youth, utilize your time when you're still very fresh and vibrant, so that in the later age you are concentrating on administration. Everyone today says, I want to be self-employed. I want to be self-made. But I want to tell you, my brothers and sisters, you can never be a successful administrator when you have never been administered to.
True.
We are suffering today. We are becoming victims of our workplaces, not even appreciated our professions, because we've been handled by self-made administrators who have never been administered to. Today, accept to be with humility where you work, respect the systems, respect your people, love people, don't hate them, just be careful with them. Don't hate anybody. No one has the power to make you fail. It's your choice and decision. But just be careful, handle anyone accordingly. Thank you so much. May God bless you.
Thank you for those wonderful words.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I will not add, neither will I subtract on his words. The really words of wisdom. We thank you. Thank you for coming around. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mr. Jonathan. Well, to you, my lovely viewers, thank you for watching. We love you. We appreciate you. Industrial Machines Uganda is the order of the day. Visit them if you're in Kampala, Uganda. Plot B4, it's in Tinder, B4, plot 133, Kampala, Uganda. If you would like to check out what exactly they do, because every time I mention them, maybe you don't understand what they do. So go to their website, www.industrialmachinesuganda.com. Mr. Ikonyat Festus is their country manager. Send him an email for inquiries at ikonyatfestus@gmail.com. For all your industrial machinery products, they have you catered for. Thank you very much, the audience. Thank you, the team behind the making of Amoso Realtalk. May the good Lord bless you. We inspire you at the comfort of your phone. Send us an email at amosorealtalk@gmail.com, and you would like to show up on Amoso Realtalk, send us an email. Our WhatsApp number runs on the screen. Send a message to us. Visit us on our Instagram, Amoso Real Talk, and Facebook, Amoso Real, and we will be together. We'll grow together. We'll hear you. We'll hear what you have to say, and you remember that you are not alone. Whatever you're going through, we got you. We are here with you to go through this world. You can't be alone. So we love you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much for loving Amoso Realtalk. Keep sharing the channel. Keep sharing. If you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Please subscribe, share, like, and comment. It's me to you, Amoso Eunice. We love you.